Hello, good evening. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Tonight, ripped from the pages of Seasonings for Your Season, we're going to talk about meeting people where they are without losing who you're becoming. Take it in, breathe out. Meeting people where they are without losing who you are becoming. All right. So we got a lot to talk about here, but it may pan out and not be as long as I am thinking. First, I want to rewind because if you followed some of the premiere videos, if you followed some of the presentations I've done, you may have tuned in at a time where I used the phrase meeting people where they are. And I gave you context with that as far as what the phraseology would mean. It could mean various things to various people. I feel like there's a level of liberty and freedom for us to cast this. And tonight, the context that I want to work within is meeting people where they are, is that you are walking with that person to get them to a healthier place. Okay? Walking with an individual to get them to a healthy place. So we need to drill down some on this. Meeting people where they are is not a concept of accepting people where they are. Because if we're talking about something that's going on in a negative connotation, we're not going to become enablers. We shouldn't. We're not going to be co-signers. We shouldn't. We don't want to be allies. We shouldn't. And we're going to talk about those words as well. But meeting people where they are is this context of saying, I'm going to walk with you to a healthier place. And so as we go along on this presentation, it'll really lock in the second part without losing who you're becoming. It'll all make sense. But let's deal with this first part first so that we can be clear and concise and this will flow. So as I said, meeting people where they are, I'm going to walk with you to a healthier place. Doesn't mean I condone what you're doing. Meeting you where you are doesn't mean it's okay. I'm co-signing. You got an ally. You got an enabler. And what do those things mean to us? Meeting someone where they are, and we are an enabler, because we need to shake that up. We need to shake that up. We need to stop that. If it's what we're doing, we don't want to be an enabler for someone whose behavior and conversation is not appropriate. It's not healthy. It's not good. We don't want to be enablers. What does that look like? When we become enablers, we're helping the situation. We're fostering the situation. It's like putting fuel in a car so that they can run. That's what we're doing. We're putting fuel into the behavior and allowing it to continue. We're enabling, we're assisting. We're making it okay because we're providing a way for that person to continue to do and say what they do. And that's not meeting somebody where they are. Being an enabler is not you meeting someone where they are. It's you allowing them to continue the conduct, the behavior, the conduct, the conversations. You're the enabler. Meeting people where they are, we're not co-signing. We're not doing a thumbs up, girl. Yeah, that's okay. That's just who you are, girl. That's why I'm meeting you right there. Because, girl, I've known you a long time. It's just who you are. Not only are we co-signing, we're still doing that enabling mannerism, right? Because we want people to be comfortable, because we want to be comfortable. So we will say, girl, that's okay. That's just who you are. Dude, that's okay. That's just who you are. And somehow we think once we've made that statement, that it justifies and solidifies that the individual can continue the behavior, because that's just who they are. It's just who they are. She talks like that. That's just who she is. She acts like that. That's no. If it's inappropriate, then there needs to be a shift. I don't care how close we are. There needs to be a shift. I can meet you where you are, but remember, I'm not going to be a co-signer. I can meet you where you are, but remember, I'm not there to be an enabler. I can meet you where you are, but I'm not there to be an ally. We're not going to work together for the purpose of you continuing in the behavior. I'm not there as an ally. I'm not there as an enabler. I'm not there to co-sign. I'm meeting you where you are because I acknowledge, I realize there's something or some things you need to work through. And because I feel what I feel for you, I'm willing to walk with you as you go through this process. There's nothing about what I just said that says it's okay. We don't need to do anything. We don't need to change. We don't need to go to the next level. We don't need to, girl, it's just who you are. So we have to be clear. Anytime we're saying meeting people where they are, it does not necessitate condoning. It does not necessitate you co-signing, you being an enabler, you being an ally. Meet people where they are in the situation of knowing change needs to take place. I'm just simply walking with you so that you can get to that healthy destination. So I think we got that part. So we can move a little bit now. We've got the meeting people where they are in the context in which we're trying to use it tonight. Now, as we take on this task, here's what's going to happen. If we are positioned, if we are postured to meet people where they are, here's something we have to be real clear about. Everybody can't go. What are you talking about, Sandra? As we extend ourselves to walk with people, to meet them where they are, everybody that we extend ourselves to can't go. They can't go to the next level. They can't go to the next place. They can't move forward. Well, everybody should be able to. Everybody should be able to, but everybody's not always ready. So let's talk about this for a minute. Let's break this down and let's give this some context. When I say meeting people where they are and recognizing that everybody can't go, there are a few things we can look at. Some people, when you attempt to meet them where they are, you want it more for them than they want it for themselves. Oh, you can see that one. Sometimes when we attempt to meet people where they are so that we can walk with them to a healthy or healthier place, we wanted more for them than they wanted for themselves. And you have to be okay with that. You have to be honest about it. And you have to recognize there is only so much you can do, and then there's nothing you can do. Everybody is not ready. Everybody can't go. And one of the reasons people don't go, won't go, can't go, fear. If I meet you where you are and I want to walk you to a healthy place or a healthier place, your fear of moving out of where you are may be the very obstacle that will keep you there, regardless of how bad that space is that you're currently in. One of the things that come into my mind is domestic violence. I may acknowledge you're in a really bad place. Let me walk with you. Let's walk together and get you to a healthy place. Your fear may be so strong till you can't go to a healthy place. There's too much fear involved. The fear of leaving, the fear of loss, the fear of unknown, the fear. Sandra, I can't walk with you. I'm too afraid. The fear. And as sad as that is, it is a reality. And it's not just domestic violence. It can be other situations that we're in that we need to come out of, but our fear won't allow it. So no matter how giving another individual is, and they say, take my hand and I'll walk with you and I'll talk with you and we'll get there and you'll get there and it'll be healthy for you. It'll be better for you. No matter how much you have of that, that fear is so paralyzing. That person's not going to move. I'm meeting you where you are, but your fear says, I'm not doing it. I'm not going. I'm not ready. I can't go. I'll suffer a loss. It'll be a loss. I can't do it. Real talk. Everybody can't go. Sometimes the obstacle is our pride. Woo-hoo. Sometimes the obstacle when meeting someone where they are and trying to walk with them is their pride. I can't make the transition. I can't make the transformation because I really believe I'm good where I'm at. I don't see anything wrong with this. I think it's serving me well. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I said it. I think it's serving me well. I don't need you to walk me to a healthy place because I think what I'm doing is working. You know, you're just looking at it from a different perspective, but my position is I don't need to be walked to a healthy place because I'm good. And again, that very well may be one of those situations where you have to acknowledge, I want this more for the person than they want it for themselves. Because even in our prideful state, sometimes the layer to the pride is denial and resistance. I'm in denial, I'm resistant. I'm telling you, ain't nothing wrong with what's going on. What are you talking about? There's nothing wrong with my conduct. There's nothing wrong with my conversation. There's nothing wrong. Why are you tripping? Have you ever talked to that person that you knew they were way off kilter? And when you talk to them, they look at you like you got two heads. and they can't fathom what it is you're talking about. What are you talking about? I'm good. I don't need to change. I don't need you to walk me nowhere. I don't need your help. I got it. Wow. Okay. You got it. Pride. So there's fear, there's pride, familiarity. It's familiar. Don't we like to be comfortable? And familiarity for us oftentimes equals comfort. If I'm familiar with it, I'm comfortable with it. If I'm comfortable with it, I'm familiar with it, and I'm good. And when you talk about walking or meeting someone where they are and understanding it translates into walking them to a healthy place, you got to give credence to their reality is, this is a place I'm familiar with. I know it. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, I know it. So there's a level of familiarity. There may even be a level of comfort with it, regardless of what it is. I know. People say it's better to be with the devil that you know than the devil that you don't know. And unfortunately, there are moments in our lives where we operate from that perspective. Good, bad, or indifferent, it's familiar. I know it. I know what to anticipate. I know what's going to happen. I know what's not going to happen. I've adjusted my expectations. Woo! I've adjusted my expectations. So I'm cool staying right here. You don't need to walk me anywhere because this stuff here is familiar. Man, when I say familiarity can kill us, it can kill us. Meeting people where they are can be challenging for those individuals. Again, fear, pride, familiarity. Everybody can't go. And those are some of the reasons why they can't. Those are some of the reasons why they won't. Those are some of the reasons why they're not ready. And as the person extending yourself, you got to be okay with that. And I know that's a hard pill, especially when it's a severe situation and you know emphatically this person needs to move and they won't. But you have to find a way to make peace with that. You have to find a way to make peace with that. Let's go through this last portion of this because we've worked on this idea of meeting people where they are, right? We've talked about some of the facets of that. So then the last part, when we start talking about meeting people where they are without losing who we're becoming. All right. Here's some things we have to consider. I'm just going to circle back to the one item and then I'll talk to you about some other things. Sometimes people, or sometimes we want it more for the person than the person wants it for themselves. And we get so caught up in that until we get lost in it because we are trying with every fiber in our body to bring that person along. And they don't want it like you want it. They don't want it like you want it. They don't even see the same urgency that you see. And that can begin to affect us emotionally and mentally because we've made the other person's struggle our struggle. And we keep pulling and tugging and pulling and tugging and pulling and tugging because I'm trying to walk with you. I'm trying to get you. You're trying to get them somewhere they're not ready to go. Raise your hand and tell the truth. You're trying to get them somewhere they don't want to go. You're trying to get them somewhere they're not ready to go. And you want it more for them than they want it for themselves. And that can create emotional and mental stress for you. You trying to be your best version. You trying to be at your healthy place. You're trying to be in a safe place, non-toxic, all that stuff. And now you done picked up somebody else's baggage, trying to help them. And it's taking you back to a place you don't have any business being. Come on, come on, come on. Tell it. Tell the truth. Meeting people where they are without losing who you're becoming. We have to be very conscious and aware of what is happening when we are trying to meet someone where they are. Let me take you here. If I am a recovering alcoholic, come on. If I'm a recovering alcoholic, it might not be in my best interest to walk you or to meet you where you are and walk you to a healthy place. Now, we do understand to some degree this happens, Alcoholics Anonymous, we have sponsors, this, that, and the third, and, all of that. But to thine own self be true, because sometimes we're not where we think we are, which means as a if, and I'm not, if I was a recovering alcoholic, I may not be in a space yet where I can bring you along and say, come on, let's walk together. Let's get you healthy. Let's dry you out. Let's do this. Let's do that. I may not really be there yet. And I'm trying to take on the journey with you that I shouldn't be trying to take on with you. So in the process of me doing that, guess what? I begin to regress. I start walking backwards. And instead of me influencing and helping you, I've been overtaken by what you're doing. Come on, let's just tell the truth tonight. Let's tell it. Meeting people where they are without losing who you're becoming. See, because here's the real. Sometimes the only thing I can do is have empathy for your situation and give you some resources. I can give you some reference points, some point of contacts in terms of who can help you. Because guess what? I may not be the person. So the true of what we're talking about, meeting people where they are, that we're walking in, I may not be in a situation where I can do that. I don't love you any less. I just see the risk on my side. If I try to do this, I may become challenged because I'm not really where I need to be. I'm getting there, but I'm not there, which means I'm not strong enough to meet you where you are. So I can have empathy and I can give you resources, but I can't get into the thrust of what's happening and say, we're going to walk together. Because that's going to take me off my game. I'm going to start losing who I'm becoming because I'm trying to invest in something I don't have enough to invest in. I'm not where I need to be to make that kind of investment in you. And that's okay. That doesn't make me less of a person. That doesn't mean I love you less. Doesn't mean I care about you less. It just means, you know what, I'm not going to be able to do this. When we think about relationships, I just want to throw this in here. When we think about relationships, there are times we have to break from that relationship because we're not strong enough to meet that person where they are. Does that make sense? There's some stuff going on with that person that could be unhealthy for me. It could be toxic for me. It could take me off my stride. It could take me out of my game. And as much as I may love that person, that relationship is not good. It's not healthy. And I don't have enough. I don't have enough right now that I can walk with them. And I know that is hard to acknowledge. I can't stay with you because it's a detriment to my own well-being, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, maybe even physically. It's a detriment. I can't stay. This is not a journey I can take with you. I love you, but I can't take this journey with you because it's taking me back. It's taking me away, and I'm losing. I'm losing. And I know I may be making a connection with some of you when I say that I'm losing. But yeah, I'm losing that connection. I'm losing the ability to take my journey forward. Because when I'm in that environment, I can feel myself slipping backwards. Meeting people where they are without losing who you're becoming. I once heard someone say there's a such thing as making healthy selfish decisions is how it was phrased. Healthy selfish decisions. And I understand that because there are times when you have to consider how you're going to be impacted by something. And if it's not going to be good for you, despite what may be needed, you have to move yourself out the way. And that's what happens here when we talk about meeting people where they are without losing who you're becoming. There are moments where we have to do a healthy, selfish decision and say, I can't do this with you because it's not going to be good for me. Empathy, resources, I still love you. I just can't do this with you. Because we don't want to regress. We don't want to be overtaken. We don't want to become the influenced as opposed to being the influencer. So we have to have that discernment. We got to be able to be smart about our choices, be wise. We have to have an awareness. We got to know when it's going to work and when it's not going to work. And we got to know when we've jumped into it and we go, oh, wait a minute. And then we got to put it in reverse because we find ourselves starting to drown in that situation because it's not good. We weren't the person to help. Sometimes we're not the person to help. We may see the situation, but we may not be the person to help. And we got to be okay with that. Empathy and resources, but I can't do it. I can't do it. I hope this has helped someone. I hope that we have a better understanding about what meeting people where they are can sometimes mean, the context of what that means, and when we're able to do it and when we're not. Because let me say this before I close. You can't feel bad when you're not able to meet someone where they are. You're just acknowledging where you are. I can't feel bad if I can't help you where you are, because I'm acknowledging where I am and what it's going to take for me to meet you there. True. I'm acknowledging what it's going to take for me to meet you there. And that cost may be too heavy. But the cost of me providing you with resources, contacts, directing you somewhere, I can do that. but I just can't be in the thick of it with you. And we can't feel like we need to be apologetic about that because we don't need to be. That's me being honest about where I am in my walk, what I can do without being impacted negatively. And we all have to do that. We have to weigh it out. We got to, hey, is this going to be good? Is this going to be bad? Can I handle it? Can I not handle it? Am I going to be overtaken in this? Is it better to pass the torch to somebody else who can really rise to the occasion and help? And if you can answer those questions honestly, you'll still have some success with that person, even if you didn't do it directly. But you need to know your limitations, because that's what's really going to help in the end, is knowing your limitations. My name is Sandra Blythe, and I want to thank you again for joining me this evening, and I hope that you will return again and again.